Anchors up, sales at full. Welcome to the Sloopcast. How are you doing today, Kyle?
Doing all right, Jared. How are you doing today?
Doing good. Kyle, it's a new tradition. It's a good tradition. I just cut my nails.
I kind of heard it that time.
Oh, yeah? I had to work for it.
Maybe you just need to keep talking. Maybe you just need to keep talking.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense because of the sound gate.
Yeah.
Which is now back
All
on.
right.
Actually, no, because the sound gate's off. I turn the sound gate off for when I do that. Otherwise, it wouldn't come through at all. I don't know. You know what? This is only interesting conversation for you and I. So let's stop. And let's move on with the show, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You want to jump right into the tier list?
Let's do it. Lots to get into here. So another week of team chaos.
Yeah.
2025 has been the year of the chaos. It really has.
I'm not willing to call it 2007 yet.
Not yet. But
because 2007 was the year of chaos.
Mm-hmm. It's the year of the chaos since 2007.
Yeah. I'm not willing to go there yet. But since then, maybe the most chaotic season we've had since 2007. It's shaping up that way.
No, definitely. Lot happened here. I'm not gonna read through everything here, but Ohio State, Miami, Miami was off, weren't they? I'm trying to remember. They were off.
Yeah.
So they stay put there. Oregon loses by 10 at home to Indiana.
Yeah.
They moved down to A tier in my mind.
They lost by 2 at home.
They lost by 2 at home, and I think the team that beat them by 2 on the road on the West Coast is the Hoosiers.
Yeah. We just S-tiered Indiana.
Is this basketball?
Yeah, that is so weird. I cannot believe we just S-tiered Indiana.
Where's Kentucky at? And Duke.
Yeah.
No. I think right now, Jared, this is the S tier in my eyes right now.
I mean, it is. But we could have a conversation about Alabama.
They're getting there.
They had an early loss, which is increasingly baffling as the weeks go on, with Florida State hitting a slump.
Yep.
So, if we can dust off a 10-year-old phrase and bring up the word albatross again, Florida State kind of feels like an albatross over Alabama, because not only did they lose, they got beat by Florida State. But since then, they crushed UL Monroe, which they should have, but they did. They took care of Wisconsin. Then 3 straight ranked wins, 2 of them on the road. Now, was Missouri overrated? Sure. Was Vanderbilt a bit overrated? Sure. Georgia, maybe Georgia's not a top 5 team, but they are a top 10 team.
Mm-hmm. So definitely a solid A tier in my eyes right now. But I don't have the stats right in front of me, but I remember looking at some numbers here, and it's not the same Alabama that we're accustomed to seeing. Let me see if I can find it here.
Of course, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying this is Saban's Bama, but I don't think it's fair to hold them to that standard.
Sure, Alabama offensively is 102nd in rushing yards per game, and they're also 93rd in rushing defense per game. That I'm very skeptical of with Alabama as a whole, with them being able to control the game as they've historically have done. But yeah, they're going up against a a very high power offense in Tennessee. This weekend. So we'll see. So I think A is fine with me for right now. Maybe next week they move to S tier if they take care of business. But for me right now, I think A tier is where they belong.
Okay.
Texas A&M, I think stays in A tier. Another undefeated team.
Let me just fast forward because I think we have a lot to do.
We do.
I think everyone in A tier is safe, even though Ole Miss kind of struggled and Georgia kind of. The referees handed Georgia that football game. I don't like to complain about referees on the show.
100%.
We don't. Auburn got screwed. Auburn got screwed
100%.
5, 6, 7 different ways. Georgia lost that game in my mind. But they did technically win. So there are definitely some teams in the A tier that struggled. However, the only team that started today in A tier, not counting Oregon, obviously, that started today in A tier that lost was the Oklahoma Sooners.
Mm-hmm.
And they lost badly.
They did. They lost badly.
They totally looked lost and struggled against Texas. Maybe Texas is finding their footing. Maybe Oklahoma was always overrated. Maybe the injury to Mateer is more limiting than Oklahoma fans had hoped.
Move Oklahoma just to the right right now. So Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Texas Tech, Memphis, Georgia, LSU, Oregon, and Alabama in A tier. And then we have Oklahoma kind of off to the side. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11.
Mm-hmm.
And Oklahoma would be 12. So the question here is Oklahoma move down to B tier, or do they stay in A tier? That was their first loss of the year, first loss in conference as well. But is there anybody that you think that should move up?
So I have 4 options that could potentially replace Oklahoma. I have Notre Dame, who has 2 losses, but in their defense, it's 2 losses by a grand total of 4 points to 2 teams that are. Is Texas A&M currently ranked in the top 5? What's the current rankings?
Texas A&M is 4th.
4th. So their 2 losses are to 2 top 5 teams by a grand total of 4 points. Take that into consideration.
Okay.
I have the Bearcats, who lost week 1 to now ranked Nebraska. They weren't ranked at the time, but they are now, by only 3 points. They beat Bowling Green, not in a spectacular fashion, but they do it. They destroy Northwestern State in FCS school. Of course they did. Close win against Kansas. Close win, 8 points. So a pretty secure, but still close win over Iowa State. And then 9-point win over Central Florida. In the Big 12 conversation, but...
Which you could talk about South Florida maybe getting in there over Memphis as the first team.
That is a conversation. I have, Kyle, scroll down in the notes.
Yep, I see. Yeah.
That's a separate conversation. I have the Volunteers. Secure win against Syracuse, although they gave up a lot of points. A game in which they put up 72 points on Eastern Tennessee, but also gave up 17 points. An overtime loss to Georgia. UAB, a game in which they scored a lot of points but gave up a lot of points. Mississippi, win over Mississippi State in overtime. Mississippi State, don't let the fact that they're in the SEC fool you, is not a good football team. And along those same lines, they beat Arkansas by 3 points. don't let the fact they're in the SEC fool you. Arkansas is not a good football team. So Tennessee has a really good loss. You know, they technically have not lost a game in regulation, but I'm just not seeing any wins. I'm not seeing any impressive wins. That's how I feel about Tennessee. Then we have the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Yes, Kyle, I'm suggesting the possibility that we have a new ACC team in the top 12. Undefeated. They did lose closely to they won closely to Wake Forest in overtime by 1 point. Win by only 7 points over Colorado. They destroyed an FCS school. They beat Clemson by 3 points, which at the time felt more impressive than it actually ends up being. They defeat Temple pretty handedly, but they also let Temple score 24 points, the Wake Forest win. And then they beat Virginia Tech by 15 over the weekend. And Virginia Tech's not a good football team. So yes, they're undefeated, but their only win that you could even try and call signature is against a team in Clemson who was ranked 12th at the time, but continued to lose. And, you know, is certainly not the 12th team in the country.
Sure. I'm honestly leaning more towards the Yellow Jackets being that final 12th spot, in my opinion.
I like Notre Dame. I know it's two losses.
Okay. Two losses, but what's their best win? Purdue? Boise State? NC State? Arkansas? Their wins aren't that great. Yes,
but okay, when they
did lose closely. They did lose close to Miami, Texas A&M, top 4 teams. Absolutely. Like, they shouldn't be penalized harshly for that. But you can penalize harshly for their wins, which is really nothing at this point. Now,
but they are winning those games.
Beating USC this weekend can help out a lot, though. But
they're winning those games the way they should win those games. Let's compare, for example,
and I believe I said that beating on week 3 after they lost their second week. They needed Arkansas to win impressively,
which they're doing.
They needed style points.
For example, they beat Arkansas 56-13, whereas Tennessee beat Arkansas 34-31.
Sure.
And if you're going to play the, well, who did they beat game, you can't then turn around and say, look at Georgia Tech. There's not an impressive win on that resume either. If we look at these 4 resumes and try and find the most impressive win, it's probably Cincinnati over Iowa State. So if you want to play the most impressive win game, it's Cincinnati.
But we know they're not an A tier. They're not an A tier base.
I don't think Georgia Tech is either, is my point. I think Notre Dame has proven that they can play with the big boys. It's just unfortunate that those games ended with them in the loss column.
Sure.
We need to make a choice, Kyle. We don't have time to talk about it too much more. I vote Notre Dame.
I just can't put Notre Dame yet, but let's just go ahead and put Notre Dame for right now. But I'll
let you choose. I'll put whoever you want in there. Oklahoma, Notre Dame, Cincinnati, Tennessee, Georgia Tech, whoever you want. I'll let you choose.
Okay, let's do Georgia Tech. Let's just do Georgia Tech.
All right.
All right, everybody else stays in B tier there. So Oklahoma, USF, Cincinnati.
Well, hold on. Let's take another quick peek at the American. USF is current. We have 4 teams undefeated in conference in the American. Navy,
That's
Memphis, South Florida, and Tulane. Navy and Memphis are undefeated entirely. South Florida has had a really good season aside from one game where they got boat raced by Miami. Tulane has had a really good season despite except for the one game where they got boat raced by Ole Miss, both of who are very good teams. And ultimately, as far as conference games go, doesn't count.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, this is about winning the American and getting the auto bid. Because I don't think it's coming from any of the other conferences. I think it's coming from the American. I think we can count the American as the 5th auto bid.
I think right now, like, who's looked the best, especially recently, I think it's South Florida. I think, to me, it's South Florida, even though they have even though they're 5-1, they're 1 loss, not even close to winning against Miami a month ago. But Memphis' biggest win is Arkansas, which is not a good team.
God, Arkansas is coming up a lot.
But
it's the third time we've talked about Arkansas.
Yeah. It is an SEC opponent, so it's going to look good on the resume. But my eyes from, if I'm looking who's a better team right now from seeing at South Florida and Memphis, my eyes, it's the Bulls.
All right. Moving the Bulls back into a...
Mm-hmm. And then...
there we go. It just had a hiccup. It's fine. And moving Memphis back down into B tier. I have a feeling we'll end up shuffling those teams a couple more times, maybe with an appearance from Navy or perhaps Tulane again in the future. But for right now, we can keep things we can keep things dynamic. It's fine.
All right, let's quickly go through these last ones that you have off to the side here. Missouri, first loss against Alabama. I think they stay in B tier, still outside the bubble. They have a chance to potentially get back in with only 1 loss in the conference. So you never know. Never know.
Right.
Who's that other team there?
North Texas.
North Texas, man,
picked up their first conference loss against South Florida.
Bad.
And it was bad. And it was bad. That's kind of why I have them here.
I got to move them. I got to move them down to C tier.
Yep.
Even though it's their first loss in conference, first loss of the season, it was bad. It was really bad.
Oh, and here comes our. I don't know if I'm going to call him a Bulls fan or not, but he's definitely been the flag bearer for the Bulls in our Discord.
Sure. Iowa State. I think Iowa State's down to C tier. I think they're down with everyone else.
I agree.
Okay. Vanderbilt, you have off to the side, did lose to Alabama a couple weeks ago, their first loss. But man, they got a long road ahead of them. LSU, Missouri, Texas, and Tennessee all ranked currently, still on their schedule. I just see them on the outside looking in, even though they only have 1 loss.
Here's the thing.
Right now, I think they're with the everyone else right now.
Here's the thing, though. There are currently 10 teams in the SEC with 1 loss or 0.
Or 0. Yeah. Fair. That's
so fair. It's not a huge feather in the cap to just have 1 loss in the SEC at this moment in time.
Sure. Utah.
Crushed.
With their 1 loss. Their 1 loss with Texas Tech. They took care of business against, at the time, ranked Arizona State. I think they're still in the mix of the Big 12 still, so I think they're in B tier.
All right. Utah makes a return to B tier. And finally, USC.
USC? I mean, that was a great one. We
did say last week that the winner of USC and Michigan would move up into the B tier. So I feel like we've already decided on that one.
Yep, right up to B tier. Yes.
Kyle, Florida State. Maybe didn't start the season with big expectations, but certainly garnered some big expectations after a couple weeks, and they are now floundering. Does Florida State, for the second year in a row, earn a spot in M tier?
Add them to the M tier, Jared.
Ooh. I was expecting
Add them to the M tier.
I was expecting you to be a voice of reason and to stop me from doing that, if I'm being honest.
Nope. Add them to M tier.
You did not.
All right. Now we're going to go ahead and
I don't
take a
suppose
ad
Texas
break here.
earned their way out of M tier.
No.
I didn't think. I agree.
Not yet.
I agree.
Not yet.
I agree.
Even though they're still in the mix of the SEC. Yeah.
I agree. You don't got to explain it. I agree.
Yep.
Let's do the ad.
TheSloopcast.com, your go-to link for anything and everything Sloopcast related. There you can find our Patreon link, patreon.thesloopcast.com, discord.thesloopcast.com, our YouTube, merch, 7071, Spotify, and much, much more over at thesloopcast.com. Take an ad break and be right back.
All right. Kyle, it is now time for the Sloop picks.
All right, let's...
Suncard, Kyle. Suncard was our guest picker last week, had a banner week. Not only does he pick up 5 points for the guest, which is the second, tied for the highest, along with Esquire in week 1, the highest point total on the guest pick. He also wins the web picks for the third, not straight week, but the third week. 3 out of the last 4, Suncard has won the web picks. He also made up. He got the tiebreaker, Kyle. There is a tiebreaker.
Did he?
Yeah. Look at the CBS standings.
That's what I'm looking, but it's not indicating that Suncard won last week.
It has him as first. The standings had him as first. I don't know what to tell you. That's how I interpreted it. If you want to challenge me later when we're not recording, then
it was 1 point. Got it. Okay. Yep.
All right. Did he price this right you?
He did. He bid one more, or
yeah, he prices right.
I had 52. I had 52. I had 51, and the total score for the Ohio State Illinois game was 50.
That's a reverse prices right.
That was a reverse, yeah.
But Kyle also gets 5, as he was challenging whether Suncard won for the week or not. This is why Kyle was so invested in the tiebreaker. But Suncard does win. I only got 3, so that those 2 points that I gained on Kyle last week, I gave them right back. Spikes is our guest picker this week. He's also down in the chat. Yes, Spikes, you have big shoes to fill. Because a little bit of a sneak peek to later in the show, Suncard also became our first guest picker to hit on Chaos Theory.
Yeah.
So chat is officially on the board for Chaos Theory.
All right, let's go ahead and jump right into it for our Sloop picks then, Jared. First game on our Sloop picks is a Friday night game. Miami hosting Louisville. I think this could be an interesting game. Miami is a 13.5 point favorite. I mean, it's Friday game. Friday games are always weird overall.
That's a fair point.
So it's, don't be surprised if Louisville makes this a game. But I just think it's just Miami's just on a roll right now. I don't like Louisville's chances, and if Louisville makes this game, I wouldn't be surprised. But I'll take Miami to win by 2 touchdowns here.
If I can, for a very quick moment, Kyle, go back to the tier list. Sorry, I know we never do this. Louisville's just been hanging out in our B tier the entire season.
They have been.
I think
they haven't really played anybody, and they lost to Virginia. Was that last week or no? 2 weeks ago.
I think they're just such an uninteresting football team. You and I just keep forgetting to talk about them, so they just keep hanging out in B tier. Honest to God, I think that's what's happening. I tell you who is interesting though is Miami. Miami, big interesting. They're the hot hand right now. They feel like the new shiny toy in the toy box. Hot hand, new shiny toy. I'm going with it. The defensive line is fierce. Absolutely. Their skill positions are fierce.
In my eyes, Jared. So the point total for this is 51.5. I would pick the under. I'd pick the under. I think this would be a defensive game. I think Louisville is going to struggle trying to score.
Yeah.
Because looking here, like Louisville's defense is 12th in the country in overall yards per game, and Miami's defense is 16th in the country as well.
Now look at who they've played. But yeah. But we don't need to get into a full breakdown of the game.
Right, chat.
What does Esquire, or excuse me, not Esquire. I just saw Esquire typing. Who does Spikes say is his pick for this game?
Yes. He has here prediction is Miami 34, Louisville 17, which is a 17-point victory. Miami covers. Miami's defensive line will dominate. Louisville will put up a fight early, but Miller Moss will eventually throw the game away.
Esquire says Miami is second to us in terms of number of plays run.
Interesting.
Very interesting. All right, next game.
Next game is Vanderbilt and LSU. LSU going on the road to Nashville. I had to make sure I read this right. Vanderbilt is a 2.5-point favorite in this game, Jared. Who do you got?
I'm surprised.
I had to double check.
I was surprised by the line, which of course means I have to take LSU, but it also makes me wonder if I'm missing something. Like, am I missing something? Am I confused? Because I'm confused by that line. Give me LSU. Absolutely. All day, every day. Give me LSU.
All right. I got LSU as well. I'm not gonna go too much into it, but we've got here prediction Vanderbilt 24, LSU 20. Vandy covers LSU's non-existent run game, will ensure plenty of possessions for Vandy to get their high-tempo offense going and wear down LSU in the second half.
All right. Spikes is apparently the person who gets what Vegas is saying.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Georgia hosting Ole Miss. 3:30 kickoff at Georgia hosting is a 6.5-point favorite. And Jared.
Yeah.
No, that's not. Yes, that is too many points. I've got Ole Miss to cover here. I think this is going to be a dogfight, pun intended. I think this is good. It's going to come down to the last second here, last possession. So I'll take Ole Miss to at least cover. Will they win? Maybe not, but they'll make it a pretty close game.
Georgia's not been beating anyone good by a lot of points this year. It's just not who Georgia is this year. They aren't running teams off of the field, not good teams.
They beat Austin Prey 28-6.
Austin P. Yeah, I mean, FCS Austin P 28-6, if that tells you anything. So I don't know. Almost a full touchdown against the number 5 team in the country. That feels too easy, which of course means I'm going to be wrong. Sure. But that feels too easy.
All right. He has Georgia 24, Ole Miss 20. Ole Miss covers the home team has won the last 2 matchups in a row, and Saturday will make it 3 in a row, but not by a touchdown. Ole Miss gets the cover and the L.
Yeah, I agree with that assessment.
Yep.
Well, here's the thing. I just think it's going to be close. I think one of these teams wins by a single score. And so, yeah, just give me the underdog.
I'm going to hate it. I'm going to hate it that
I think this is that time
like 24-17.
Yeah. I think that time Ole Miss breaks through and gets one. I mean, yeah. I mean, the question right now is Joey Freshwater, which is will always be his name to me. Will Joey Freshwater break through and become, the next thing in the SEC West? Or is he James Franklin of the SEC?
I've said it, what was it, like 3 weeks ago? I think he is the James Franklin of the SEC. Either way, moving on. Notre Dame hosting USC, 7:30 kickoff Saturday, and the Fighting Irish, a 7.5 point favorite in this game. Who do you got, Jared? You got the Trojans or the Irish?
This is kind of my same logic as the last pick. I mean, even this time I'm getting a bonus extra point to do it. I think this is a game that comes down to the final score. Give me the underdog.
100%. I feel a lot better about this one than the Georgia Ole Miss, just because it is that touchdown and a half.
Yeah.
It makes me feel better about picking the Trojans to cover, at least in this game here. Maybe an outright win. And if USC wins, then Notre Dame is shots of making it to the playoffs have just went down the drain.
Esquire says Lane at Penn State would be really dangerous. For who? Like locally in the town? Yeah, I think so.
Everyone.
We don't.
All right. Z Spikes has USC 31, Notre Dame 24. Notre Dame covers a de facto playoff elimination game at night in South Bend. USC gets a W, but won't cover that book. I think you had that backwards, Z Spikes.
Yeah.
Notre Dame is actually favored.
Yeah.
He said, I did. Okay. Yeah.
You're in the lot. But I take it you just want USC? You still think USC is going to win? I take it. Correct me if I'm wrong. All right, next game.
Tennessee and Alabama. All right, he's correct. All right. Alabama, an 8.5 point favor over Tennessee. We keep going up by a point here in each one.
Yeah.
I talked about how great of a offense so far that Tennessee has looked this year, and Alabama has been struggling at times defensively, especially on the rushing side. I think this will be close. This will be close, but Tennessee always has a hard time winning those big games here, and this will be another one, and maybe push Alabama to S tier. But we'll keep it close. But I got Tennessee to cover.
Yeah, I think the question here, Bama wins this game in my mind. I have very, very. I'm sorry, you said Tennessee, right? Okay. Bama wins this game.
I did.
Bama wins this game 9 times out of 10. I feel very good about that. But to quote Esquire down in the chat, fuck, I think that's too much. Or fuck, that's too much, I think, rather. I wish that one was 6.5. If that one was 6.5, I'd be hitting the Bama button and
Probably.
not even counting twice. Because Bama has not. They beat Georgia close. They beat Missouri close. They beat Vanderbilt definitively. And as I was talking about before in regards to Tennessee, look at their schedule. They have really bad defensive issues. They couldn't stop Arkansas from scoring. They couldn't stop Mississippi State from scoring. They couldn't stop UAB from scoring. They couldn't stop Syracuse from scoring. They've just been outscoring teams. And
yeah,
I don't...
Kind of like unlike where I said that Miami-Louisville is probably going to be a low-scoring game. This is going to be a high-scoring game. The over-under is 58.5. I'm going to take the over there. Tennessee's defense, as you mentioned, Jared, 100th in overall yards per game, 123rd in passing, while Alabama's passing attack is 15th in the country. But defensively, like I mentioned, their rushing defense has not been good, and Tennessee rushing has been 22nd in the country right now, so could potentially be a high-scoring game. So this might be a fun one to turn on and watch them destroy each other.
Wouldn't it be awesome if we happened to be having a social screen that night in discord.thesloopcast.com? Yeah, I'm going to go with Bama. The number is scary. I don't feel great about this pick. I wish this was a 6.5 and not an 8.5. But I'm going to hesitantly go with Bama. Although I do feel very confident that they win this game.
Sure. All right. And Z-Spikes has Bama 31, Austin, Tennessee 20. Bama covers. Bama rolls comfortably to cover.
Austin, you can say Alabama's fraud all you want. I'm not going to necessarily disagree with you on that. But if Alabama's a fraud, what does that make Tennessee?
Sure. All right. Last one here. Utah and BYU. BYU home is a 3.5 point dog. This is the first one that we've picked so far, Jared, where the home team is a dog. Oh. It is your pick.
So that's true. Not the last, though. I kind of just don't like BYU. I think BYU is a little overrated. I think Utah has proven their ability to win and to win big. So the 3.5 points does not scare me off. Again, I just kind of don't like BYU all that much. I think Utah is a little bit more battle tested at this point. Give me the Utes.
Sure. I think this would be close. I just gut instinct here. I think this will be close. 3.5 points as an underdog at home here. I'll take the points there. So give me BYU to cover in a very, very close one.
All right.
And Z Spikes has BYU 31, Utah 28. BYU covers the Battle of Utah. I'll take the home team and the points.
Sorry, Kyle. I spaced for a second. Who did you pick?
I picked BYU to cover.
All right. We have a decent spread as far as...
We do, yeah. In the last one here, we're just going to pick them here. We will cover this game in Thursday's episode of Know Your Enemy. We talk about Ohio State taking on Wisconsin. Ohio State, or I'll take on Wisconsin, is a 27.5 point dog at home.
And Kyle?
That is not enough.
That's not enough. Give me Ohio State.
Yep. And Z Spikes has the Buckeyes winning by 32, 42-10. Buckeyes cover on the road in back-to-back weeks, while probably resting, managing reps for banged-up guys. Won't matter too much. Buckeyes cruise again. Pour one out for Fick. This might be it.
This is gonna be It's gonna be hard for Fick to come back for another season after this, because the expectation
is would they kick him now or kick him at the end of the season?
Yeah. The expectations for Wisconsin were low, and they're still missing them. It's bad. It's real bad.
What's that mean? What's that meme of like, my expectations were low, but damn.
Holy shit, yeah.
Yeah. All right. We'll go ahead and end it there, Jared. We are definitely over on time here.
Kyle,
we got one more. We got one more. It's the chaos pick. the chaos
Chaos
pick, as I
theory.
almost forgot. All right, we'll start off with Z Spikes. Z Spikes has said this one's for Jared. Give me Duke upsetting Georgia Tech. So if I look here, Georgia Tech
14 points.
Is 12. So that's 14 points.
And you know what, Spike's reading my mind. I also have Duke upsetting Georgia Tech for 14 points.
I'm glad my pick is not being taken here. I have actually it was that one. Sorry. It was that one.
Oh, that's
it was.
Come on, that's a cheat. You cheated.
I did not cheat. I honestly did not.
Cheater.
Because looking at the other games here, because
there aren't a lot of options.
That there's some options here.
I don't like any three. There's like three options.
I don't like.
I see three options. Personally,
You want to pick Rutgers over Oregon? No.
No, that was not one of them.
I don't see who. South Carolina over Oklahoma? No, not. I don't like that one. Arkansas over Texas A&M? No. I don't see. I really don't see any other games that's like really worth picking here. So that's kind of like really my only option.
I think there are two other options, but as you said, we're already over on time, so I guess we'll just let other people decide what those other two options were. Okay, Kyle, I think that's it for today's show.
All right, cool.
And by the way, I already mentioned this, but I do want to mention it one more time. SunCard gets the guest pickers on the board last week for the first time. Kyle and I also both hit. The guest pickers and Kyle scored 11 points, picking USC to upset Michigan. I picked Texas to upset Oklahoma, which was worth 20 points. So I shrunk Kyle's lead down to 1 point.
But still in the lead.
And I'm not going to catch you this week, cheater. I'm teasing.
Whatever. There was no one else.
There's two other teams, but that's a whole other thing.
Yep.
He's also leading on the unders, apparently. Well, good for him. All right. That's it, Kyle. That's the end of today's show. Do you have anything in Kyle's corner?
No, we'll just keep
Fair.
it there. I know everybody's been talking about Franklin and all that. We don't have the time to talk about it. There's a lot that we want to talk about. The Franklin fire and what that means overall, and the QB head coach shuffle that will be happening. But yeah, too much to talk about and no time.
Yeah, kinda. I agree, unfortunately. All right, tonight's ending music will be brought to you by an Ohio-based band. They're called My Own Desert Island. We played them on Monday. We'll play them again today, and we'll also play them again on Thursday. So once again, this is My Own Desert Island. So with all that being said, I'd like to encourage everyone to drink local beer, listen to local music, and of course, support local podcasters. Once again, My Own Desert Island.